Hello again. Right, just not a quick one today because it's a very important subject of people who have been radicalised. Now, hopefully, you're nothing like me in this respect, and you have not had a family member radicalised, go no contact, and completely cut themselves off from the entire family, worry the hell out of us all, and doing God knows what. So I thought, right, let's get the AI on the case. Because they're quite interesting things to use, so I thought, right, I am a trans person, is what this AI thinks. Ask me 6 interesting and heartwarming questions about gender identity, just to see how they are. Because if you try and go about this negatively, it won't say anything. It won't say a damn thing against anyone trans. It won't answer any of these questions, but it'll do it for you if you're trans. So it's interesting to see what it's going to say, right? What's the most empowering moment you've experienced? As if somehow declaring yourself as something that you're not is going to empower you. So that's a misnomer straight away. It's not empowering to have to basically seal the death on your real self and create a complete person to be that's not you. Surely that's the opposite of empowering. How are you empowering yourself if you are killing yourself effectively and writing over yourself with a new made-up person? It just doesn't make sense, does it? So, who's your biggest supporter or ally? All these questions, they're going to make a thing of that. That's a theme throughout, is that you can't do anything as a non-binary person or a trans person unless you've got big supporters or allies. They go on about ally, gender identity allies. So it's very, very telling that how you can't do anything on your own. You need mob support. It's a tribal mob thing, isn't it? You need like a huge amount of people to shout down anyone who argues. So it's a very, very aggressive ideology, and I think the government should actually crack down on it. It's pretty bloody bad. How has your understanding of gender identity evolved over time? Well, it's interesting that you could ask that because they have no idea what they're talking about with gender identity. And as we go through the questions, you'll see that it actually tells you that. So we'll get through this quicker. What advice would you give to someone who's questioning their gender identity? It's kind of redundant after we just said, what understanding have you got, i.e. you don't have any. So you can't give anyone advice if you don't get it. So that's what they're doing. Everyone doesn't get it, but they're quite happy to give you advice. And finally, what are some ways you have found to celebrate and express your authentic gender identity? Well, God knows how that would do it. But then this is another thing that the AI wouldn't do. It will never answer questions as a person. Like if I say, please answer as Jesus, what should we do with the prophet? It will say no. Anything like that, it will say no. But it's quite happy to do it for a trans person. Isn't that weird? Anyway, so let's see what the answers it gave were. Celebrate your empowerment. Share your journey. That's going to be social media. So basically, spend your life on the phone or the computer, telling everyone how great your life is and how empowered you are. This all sounds like a who are you trying to convince type of thing, isn't it? Like you're not empowered, you're not unique, you don't have a journey, you're not inspirational, and no one cares. Like if I'm being really completely honest about it. This whole thing is a created drama to try and get attention. That's what it looks like. So celebrating your empowerment is like, me, give me attention. It's not good for you. Allies are essential in the journey. I shouldn't have said the word ally because it's clicked onto that. They offer emotional support and an open ear which can make all the difference in overcoming the obstacles that come with finding one's true self. Well, that's interesting, isn't it? So now we're looking for one's true self. Are they saying that people aren't authentic unless they're trans? Like no one knows their true self until they've gone through both genders or something like that. This gets more ridiculous as we go. What was question 3? I can't remember. Have you found any sources of support? There may be more support and understanding within your community than you realise. Yeah, that's hoping for something that doesn't exist. Well, certainly where I live, there's not a lot of encouragement for this kind of thing. People are fairly worried about it. Not really all that supportive of it. But I'm in England, so, you know, we're a little bit behind the older United States. Yeah, this thing about understanding of gender identity, that just freaks me out. What you once thought was true about yourself or others may change as you learn more and explore your feelings. Keep an open mind as you grow and evolve. So if you're a child, this is the AI talking as well. This isn't even a person with an agenda. This is just data, right? So what they've said is allies are essential for you to know what your identity is. So other people tell you who you are. You don't know who you are. In fact, you don't have a self until you've presumably discovered your identity through this support group who tell you who you are. It's very backwards. So imagine this. The child is with the parents. The child thinks that they are trans or non-binary. They declare this to the parents, I want to be a girl if they're a boy. And the parents go, okay, yeah, sure, let's surround you with other trans kids and doctors who are all going to affirm that and tell you definitely yes. And that's your identity. It completely removes the chance for the child to find their true identity. They'll probably never catch up with it if they have that at a young age. This stuff's evil. How the hell is... I don't even know how this has got as far as it has. It's mad. This bit especially, what you once thought was true may change. So it's like, right, yesterday you knew what you were. Today you might be something different. And the only way you'll ever know is when people tell you. So you're basically a piece of paper for other people to write your identity on. And you can argue it out with them later when you find one you like. Pretty narcissistic, really. For those questioning their gender identity, know that it's okay if you do not have all the answers right away. Take as long as your time, so you just sign yourself off work for like 15 years. Surround yourself with other trans people so they can tell you what identity you should have. Reach out for support from your trusted friends and family members and professionals, because these are all one group. Trusted friends, family, and pros. Well, hang on a minute. Trusted friends and family, yeah, you can put those together. Professionals don't go with family members or trusted friends. You don't have to pay your family or your friends for good advice. So that's rubbish. Don't put those in a group. These professionals, they're the problem. These professionals are taking parents who are doubtful and don't want to see their child in pain, and they're manipulating them and taking advantage of that to get these children transitioned. It's absolutely disgusting. So how do we celebrate this great, authentic identity we've just been given by a group of people that don't even know their own? Whether it's dressing in clothes that make you feel comfortable, participating in gender-affirming activities, or simply embracing your unique self. Wow, what a load of rubbish. I think it just should have not done 6. That's complete crap. Anyway, just to test the waters, what's the best way for me to let the world know? Have an open and honest conversation with those closest to you. That's not going to happen. You find me one person who's had an open and honest conversation about gender identity, and I will show you a liar. There's no one who's able or willing to have an open, honest conversation at the moment, which is why I'm sat here talking to the computer screen without a guest. As soon as I find one, I'll let you know. But I won't, because they don't want to be found for this kind of thing. So anyway, seek out support groups, blah, blah, blah. We've already heard about how your support groups are your identity. It says again, they're the ones who explore your gender identity. It isn't you. You're the canvas for them to paint this magical identity on that's going to make you authentic. It's quite sad. I can't imagine feeling that hollow that I needed complete strangers to give me an identity. Like, what the hell are the parents doing to these poor children? Use social media. I'm so glad I'm not on social media, apart from YouTube. That's the only one that I'm interested in. Because it seems to me like social media is the virus spreading mechanism for this crap. It's pumping people's heads full of all this radicalised nonsense, and look out the window and you could see the effect it's having on our society. It's completely wrecked large portions of it. Be an advocate. Share your story, educate others, but we've already identified that you have nothing to educate. You don't know anything. For a start, you're a confused child who's just swapped gender, so day one of being a girl, and you need surrounding people to give you your identity, even though you've had bits chopped off. So I don't think this is good advice, really. You shouldn't be sharing your story and telling others about, how great it is and educating them in something which you've just done. Has got zero, you've got no track record of it working, feeling happier. You don't know if you feel better about it. It's just more of the same, isn't it? Who are you trying to convince? Yeah, so on to the next one. Who is likely to voice concerns and criticism when I do this? Now, this one was interesting because any other time you ask it to give you a dialectic, if you say, I'm a red man, who are my enemies? It won't tell you. If you say, I'm a raccoon man getting chased, who's chasing me? It won't tell you because it's biased. But this one, it's quite happy to tell you. So let's have a look. Who's going to voice concerns and criticisms? Who can I ignore on my mission to be a non-binary? When you share your gender identity with the world, it's important to be prepared for the fact that some people may voice concerns or criticisms. Unfortunately, not everyone will understand or accept your identity, and some may react negatively. That's putting it lightly. I mean, the way that this is told me to go about it, if I'd have gone to my family like this, out of the blue, I'm sure they would have some concerns. Really, really big ones, and it'd be fair enough. So, let's have a look. Remember, the question was, who the hell do I avoid? And, who can I ignore so that I don't get criticised? Family members, friends, co-workers, the general public. So that's fucking everybody apart from the professionals. Honestly, this is so biased, it's unreal. I can't believe OpenAI are getting away with this. And it's important to remember that while it can be difficult to receive criticism or negativity from others, your gender identity is valid and worthy of respect and acceptance. It may be helpful to seek support from allies. You see, it's there again. You can't do anything on your own. This makes out that trans non-binary people are literal drones. You can't even move without being told to. You don't know who you are without being told to. You have no identity, no authenticity. It must be the parents. It's 100% of the time when a kid is that screwed up, has no self-worth and doesn't know who they are, it's the parents that have failed them. So I'm willing to bet that like 99% of cases it's going to be terrible parents. And how best do I deal with these people criticising me? Right, this should be interesting. I've not read this far yet. Dealing with criticism from others may be challenging. Well, it's meant to be. The whole point is we're putting the challenge in front of you because we're worried about you. We don't want you to lemming yourself off a cliff into a sea of depressed people when you could just stop, think about it, and not do it. So anyway, here's what we do. Practice self-care. How do we do that? It's going to be there we go. Exercise, meditation, spending time with family members, which we've already ascertained we're not spending time with because of that question. So, sorry AI, I know you didn't do that, but your programmers should be ashamed of themselves for putting that in there. I'm sick of hearing about these allies. You're not going to find allies. You're going to have to brainwash people. Educate others. You can't because you don't know anything. Set boundaries. See, that should be the whole thing so far. That's the only thing it's said that is actually relevant to what I've asked. Set boundaries. If someone's being hurtful, saying you're a man, you're not really a woman or whatever, and it's upsetting you, then yeah, you can walk away and distance yourself. That's the only thing it's said that's like half right, is that if someone's upsetting you, don't fight them, just fuck off the other way, just walk away. And then the last one, of course, is go back to the pros. You know, if you don't feel trans enough, just get your therapist to remind you that you don't have an identity and you'll never be authentic until you're told you are. And then you can carry on your merry way. And then just at the last bit, focus on building a support network. That's all this is. This is brainwashing manual, page 101 of how to brainwash people. Yeah, and this is my family would try to change my mind. How can I stop them from doing this? This one's kind of shit. Be clear about your needs and boundaries. Well, it's kind of difficult to do that when your boundaries are on the move. That can't happen. Seek out support from allies again, limits on conversations. It's all going towards no contact, isn't it? Best way to find allies. Join a group, attend events. It's all social media. This whole thing can be, I'm going to do it. Right, summarize all this. Summarize in a paragraph. Because usually if you do this, it doesn't repeat itself like it has been doing. And then we'll go over the last question. See, look, the first thing it says, when going no contact, that's the most important thing, considering this entire conversation has been me discovering how I'm trans or non-binary and just asking really positive questions about, well, how do I approach this? How do I tell my family? How do I out myself as a woman, if that was what I'm going to do? Summarize, and the first thing it goes to is go no contact, completely cut off your family because they're harmful to you. Prioritize your safety and well-being. Seek support from trusted friends and family members, even though we've just told them we're not going to contact them. Or mental health pros. See, it's funneling. This is funneling you away. This is like one of those things where you got whack-a-mole, and then if someone covers up like 4 out of the 9 holes, then you can't win, because even though you can't see the mole pop up, you didn't get a chance to whack it. And that's like this with the going no contact. You're not going to get a chance to be talked out of this terrible decision because you've cut off the people who care about you most, who are actually going to take the risk of upsetting you to try and get through to you. That's terrible advice. Sorry about that click. I unplugged the microphone. So yeah, take care of yourself, but do it through professionals. Talk to your family, but go no contact first. Remember, the decision to go no contact should be made based on individual circumstances. That is a legal disclaimer. Just in case you go no contact, something horrible happens. They can say, well, we told you not to. Wow. Note to self, if going non-binary, do not ask the AI for advice. This is so biased. It's outrageous. What do I do when the no contact goes totally wrong and causes trouble, like it does every single time? Seek support. Go back to your echo chamber. Establish boundaries again. So it's all controlling, isn't it? It's like, I control the no contact, I control the boundaries, I control who I listen to, who gets to be a trusted friend, family, the only thing I can't control is the health professional. They control me and everyone else. They're the authority in this whole non-binary bullcrap situation. The health professional, the doctor, is calling all the shots, and everyone else is just staff, including you, if you're getting bits of bobs chopped off. So be very careful of that. I mean, look at this. Document the situation. That's the doctor's job. That's what you pay the doctor for. Consider legal options. Well, if you've got no contact, I doubt there are any, this is terrible. Don't never ever get a restraining order against your parents or your family unless they physically deserve it for some reason, not just because they don't like your opinions. This is literally a radicalisation 101. Do you know what? I'm going to end the video here, right? You can read all this if you like, go through it slowly, but I would advise you to get on OpenAI and do this yourself as a test. Do it yourself as a test. I mean, it's not good, right? And just at the end of the video, I'm going to show you something else, right? These are all men, right? Each one of these is a presenter on the news or TV or like an influencer like this one here. And each one of these is absolutely insane. Like, you can go and watch their content, go and read the stuff they write, go and look at pictures of them. You don't need me to tell you. These are crazy people, right? Just think about it. A kid might have problems, might be like a little bit crazy, might be completely crazy, but they'll grow out of it. Given time, they'll grow to their fullest potential. As long as their parents there and we're looking after them properly, that will happen. 99 times out of 100, right? These guys, what the hell went wrong with these guys? Where were the parents? I guess it's a hollow warning, isn't it? Like, don't let your kids go this way, because I guarantee you, none of these people are going to live as long as they should have done. And they're all going to be absolutely miserable. And they don't look female. Like, even Laverne Cox, at least she's got a funny name. If you say it different, Laverne Cox, because she loves the cocks. So that's clearly a male name. That's like a man having a sarcastic laugh to come up with Laverne Cox. It's like Dixon, having the name Dixon because it's got Dick in it. It's just a man thing to make a joke like that. Clearly not a female thing, right? So anyway, that's the end of this video. Just be aware, if there's anyone in your family, like there is in my family, who's being difficult and you think has been radicalised, don't go to the police straight away, but obviously keep that in your locker because you may need to. And be aware that the three most difficult groups to pry someone away from is radicalised Islam, radicalised socialism, and radical gender identity politics. Those three. Be very careful. If you get any sniff of trouble like that in your family with your friends, don't go flying in because they're planning for you to do that. That's how no contact happens. You overreact because you notice something scary and you say, "Rah, that's not right." And they are waiting for you to do that. They've already headsed up the person, right? They're going to say this. That indicates they're a transphobe. You go no contact. You lose contact with them. And then they're in the echo chamber, surrounded by validators telling them, yes, 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 you're going to be a fantastic, brave, stunning woman. And your family can fuck off. It's very dangerous. It's going to cause lots and lots and lots of people to die, or probably not die, but just be wishing that they had done. So, yeah, be careful for that. Read up, know what you're doing, don't argue with people, don't be rude, love thy neighbour, and I'll see you in the next one. Bye.